Hey, it's Brett, and I just got to Rome. I'm gonna spend 2 weeks here in Italy. If any of my trip looks familiar, it's because I'm copying Stanley Tucci. The Colosseum was actually built with money that was looted from Jerusalem. So the Romans had a war with the Jews, and that was, I believe, around year 60 or something. And so all the booty that they stole from Jerusalem, they brought back, and they used that money to build the Colosseum. While I'm here, I thought I'd share a few facts that I learned about the Colosseum. So it was finished being built around 80 after Christ, and it held up to 80,000 people, but more commonly about 50,000. And then around the year 200, one of the emperors added the basement layer, like the catacombs, and that's where the animals were kept, and then they'd be raised up for the gladiators. By the way, the gladiators, that only happened from when it was constructed through about 500, and then those were banned. And after that, it was only for animals and other performances and events. You can see they did a beautiful job restoring it everywhere. See how white this is now. It used to all be black. I can show you some video downstairs what it looked like before. But one thing that's kind of sad is long ago you can see how scavengers, they would dig these holes and then extract these pieces of metal, like a metal peg that would hold the two blocks together. So that was done thousands of years ago. It was already taken. And then they used the whole thing as a quarry. So, you know, it's 2,000 years old. So people would steal the stones and use them to rebuild other structures. I believe it was finally around the year like 1600 or 1700 that the Pope banned people from using it as a quarry. It was also lived in. So there were people renting apartments in the Colosseum up until the year 1200. But for something like 500 years, people were living here and they had stores and just kind of taken over the whole Colosseum. So that's the Jewish artichoke. It's an anchovy and, what is it, endive pie, and then a Roman artichoke. I'm back in Rome for my last day in Italy, and I'm staying right next to the Vatican here, so came over to St. Peter's, and my dad always reminds me that my grandfather donated these gates here, or actually it could be these, I'm not sure, but back at Monterosso we used to have the original, well, not the original gates, we had the gates that ours replaced in our garage, and they were from like the 15th century. They were really cool because they were huge and wooden, but unfortunately they had to sell those. So anyhow, I don't think it's gonna help much with the line. You can see over here we've got a couple hour wait to get in, and I'm not big on lines, so I'm not sure I'm gonna wait in that. But anyhow, nice to walk around here. Well, Lily convinced me to go through that line after all, but the good news is it was only about 30 minutes. So it looked big, but it wasn't that bad. Behind me is the Tiber River that runs through Rome, and it reminds me that last time I was here, I think I was 16 years old, and I just landed here. I had been in Serbia. I was coming from Belgrade. I was visiting a friend there, and Serbia is known for their amazing spiced meats, street meats that are sold at little vendors all over. And but when I was here, some food poisoning started to kick in from that. I remember just having a horrible throw up right about here, and all the local Italians were looking at me thinking, oh, that awful American. But what can you do?